Elon Musk gets funding for his startup, and two daddy frogs go to jail. And you'll understand what I'm going at here. But yeah, we're going to go through a couple things today. We're going to kick it off with Elon Musk getting a bunch of funding here. We're going to go over some daddy frogs going to jail. We're going to go over some Jews down in Guatemala. We're going to go over Rand Paul trying to get little mouth man Fauci in jail. And we're also going to be going over Biden really protecting the best among us in the country and how he's really thinking about you, the American citizen. And if we have time, we might get into tariffs. That might have to be next time. I got a lot of stuff to cover, so we'll see. But yeah, Elon Musk secures $6 billion in funding for his new AI startup. I think it's called X.AI. And that included funding from BlackRock, from Sequoia, and from NVIDIA. So some big heavy hitters. I mean, Sequoia is really seen as one of the best technology funders. So if you get Sequoia involved, it's very much like, oh, okay, these guys are serious. So, and they're also really good bets on really successful, technology startups. So $6 billion. I mean, Elon Musk will immediately. I mean, literally, that's going to be $20 billion in 1 year. In 3 years, that's going to be turned into $60+ billion added to his net worth. Probably more. Probably $100 billion. So I mean, to be fair, with this Grok, what they've done is they've just created AI. I mean, it's pretty good, Cody, wouldn't you say? Grok overall?
Yeah, I mean, I really I like it. I still prefer OpenAI and ChatGPT. Yeah. I just use that the most, how it's integrated in what I do. But I do like Grok AI, especially for the image. They don't put limitations really that OpenAI does on their image generation with what is it, DALL-E, I think?
Because when you're looking up images, it's always like, nope, can't do that. That's beyond our terms of services.
Especially as nationalists, we try to do some maybe considered edgy stuff.
Yeah. But sometimes you just want to, we were looking at making T-shirts, funny T-shirts.
Or like a picture of Jesus holding the world in his hand up against the guidelines,
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I do like Grok. I think you can't compare it with OpenAI right now. It's just OpenAI is so much larger. I think the potential for Grok to be established as its own thing, I think it would be. I think it has the potential.
What's the biggest separators, though, do you think, right now? Because I see, honestly, the chat features, all that stuff is really similar.
To me, just the easeability of using it.
Gotcha.
Grok, it's a little bit more difficult to navigate, whereas
you're saying like finding your different chats and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just not as intuitive in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure if I used it more, I could integrate it into what I do pretty well. I'm going to be honest, I have not used Grok a lot. I've only really messed around with the image side of things. So I haven't really given it a lot of tasks in terms of compiling large text files or I would be curious to see some basic programming. I'm not a good programmer, but I do some front end stuff. And so I would like to see if it could do, what I've given and asked GPT to do. Now with my iPhone, GPT is kind of integrated into Siri, so I'm learning, I'm using that more as well.
Yeah.
So, and I pay for, I do pay for Grok too, I guess, because I have premium. But
well, ChatGPT is really nice because, like you're saying, the organization of it.
Yeah.
That's more what I like, is the fact that I can have all these chats. I can, every time I go in, it saves it as a new one. So, and it remember. It just feels like it's a better oiled machine. Not that the AI is better on Grok or on AI, OpenAI or anything. But additionally, you got to remember, this is not an AI company, X.
Yeah.
This is just the engineers he had on hand.
Yeah, and I think now with the funding, I think they're really breaking into their own branch.
Exactly.
And it could be huge because I know they're already working on Grok 3. They're already doing beta testing on that model.
Which that's $6 billion. They're going to be able to recruit a lot of guys from OpenAI. They're going to be able to,
and that's the thing is, right now I feel like maybe I'm not doing justice for Grok. I think I'm I'm more rating the actual interface more than the
Yeah.
model itself.
Yep. But that's a part of
Um,
it, right?
To me,
So
it
they
is.
just
It's
need
a
to
big
figure that out
thing.
because I mean it's UX UI. Like you got to have a good user experience. So
Yeah.
and that's the problem too is that the cool thing is that they might actually surpass ChatGPT just because they're a bunch of nerds. They're gonna be engineers. They're gonna make it really awesome. The usability might not be that great. So
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm an Elon fan, rooting for Elon.
me too.
I
I hope he crushes OpenAI. Crush him. Crush him like the ant crushes the boot, like a boot crushes the ant. I mixed that up. How in the world?
one of those
But-
things, but yeah, no. I mean, there's certain AIs that I don't use. I don't use Meta's AI, and I don't use Google's because I
Yeah.
just think they're both trash.
Sucks. Yeah.
But now that, and even Apple Intelligence is currently sucking. But they suck less now that they've integrated ChatGPT. But
Still not great though.
no,
What I've heard, it's pretty bad.
I mean, just the first thing, dude. Whenever it sounds bad, and I'm really relying on AI now. But if I got a question, I generally don't go to Google anymore.
Yeah.
I literally just launch the GPT app, and I'll just talk to my phone.
Because Gary Vee talks about that. Gary Vee thinks that's the future.
Yeah,
He's basically like, hey, Google is not the future. Like, it's going to be really AI driven where is the database? Where is OpenAI? Where is Grok? Where are all these things pulling their data from?
Yeah.
That's going to be what matters.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And how are they going to limit like, when people do start using it like the general internet? Hey, I live in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Can you recommend 3 good plumbing companies near me?
Yeah.
Right? Like, whoa, how are they going to limit and how are they going to decide who gets in there? Right? They're going to monetize that some way.
Yeah, and
So-
for us that we're in marketing, that's something we got to be on top of as well.
I'm actually going to.
So, I mean, it's very interesting. Another thing I like about Grok is if I go to Google and I'm searching like a news article, especially stuff we talk about typically isn't mainstream, or we're going against what mainstream is reporting.
Yeah.
And we try to give you alleged facts.
Allegedly, we're accurate.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I like that. No, but so if I go to Google something and it might be labeled as extreme,
Yeah.
Google is not going to give me what I want or even what I'm looking for.
Especially ChatGPT.
It's going to be tailored. Yeah.
ChatGPT is like your leftist cousin.
It is
It's
cool
like
because maybe
crazy.
Grok won't give it to me, but it will think about it, and it will be like, well, I didn't find anything directly what you're saying,
Yeah.
but here's some posts and some articles that could be alluding to what you're talking
At least
about.
it tells you something. And
Yeah.
like, ChatGPT would have shut down and be like, oh, I'm not allowed
that
to talk. on that.
violates my community guidelines
Yeah,
or
it's like,
something like
Dude, tell me what
Exactly.
happened. Did that person get killed by that person or not? And it's like, oh, they did. All right. Well, that's why you didn't want to tell me.
And
but-
speaking of killing, segued into child trafficking. Or did you not want to get there yet?
Oh, we're going to get into killing, but I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to go 2 daddy frogs.
Oh, no.
2 daddy frogs.
Ugh.
All right, Cody. So
Lay it on me, Caleb.
I'm gonna lay it on you. It's not gonna be great though. I'm very upset to bring you this story. This actually makes me very, very angry. So I'm gonna keep it together though. We got I'll show you the image here, Cody.
You texting it to me?
Yeah. Yep. America's fallen, Cody. That's what I'm saying.
America done messed up.
America has fallen, and I think one of the most important kind of things about a nation is the fact that they protect their kids, right? I think that's a really good determining factor whether a civilization's growing, shrinking. The Aztecs were child sacrificing, everyone around them's kids, their own kids, and guess who came in and took care of them? The Spaniards. So I think that this is just a really horrific thing here. So either way, the most immoral thing: two guys adopt 2 kids, and they continuously pimp them out. They rape them. They record it, and they do. I mean, it's just they literally adopted them for this cause. And of course, they're wearing gay pride stuff. Force the kids to wear gay pride stuff. Yes, it's forcing when you do a kid like that. And then obviously,
that makes me angry.
Yep. Obviously, they raped him. They're facing up to 100 years in prison. They're in Georgia. It's not enough. I mean, it's not enough. There should be outrage. I mean, these people need to be executed.
They'll be dispatched in prison.
Yeah, but that's not soon enough.
No.
I mean, they need to be hung publicly. But so it's just kind of this problem of this is what happens when your morality gets questioned. When you say, "Oh, is gender a real thing? Is it a construct? Is a mother important in the a family dynamic? Is a dad important in a family dynamic? Of course. It's called evolution. Even if you're an evolutionist and you don't believe in God at all, you have to admit that the human race has evolved to have a mother and a father in the home. This is proven through all data and statistics, which is it's better to have a two-parent household of different sexes, not the same sex, and that's going to be your most optimal, for low crime rates, for success in life, higher grades, college graduation rates, high school graduation rates, which are even more important. So the fact that, and then not only that, but we have the problem of morality, right? Which is, of course, these things happen with really evil, people as well. I mean, you're not going to get rid of it just because you ban gays from doing it, but it's just not natural. You're starting it off to a not natural, a very just horrible, and to me, it should be banned. You should not allow gay people to adopt kids. It should be outlawed. It's one of my biggest bones to pick with the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire hired Dave Rubin, who's a gay man and he has a kid. This is haram. This is I'm gonna go full Muslim. I've been going hard on the immigrants in Europe, but the one thing the Muslims got right, and you liberal women should be taken care of by the Muslims, because I'm with them on this one. You can't be having this. You cannot have gay people adopting kids. It's immoral. It's wrong. Everything about it just is not natural, and you can feel it through evolution, through Christendom, through your values, your Christian values, I should say. It's totally horrific. And 100 years, and you can see the punishment being we'll send you to prison for the rest of your life. Okay, not good enough. And I mean, we as Americans, we got
to fund that as taxpayers. We got to fund them just living there.
We got to fund them staying alive. I think that
I don't get that.
A demonstration should be made of them. I do believe in public executions. I think that's something that needs to be brought back. It needs to be made great again. We need to really get on the horn and make that a thing in this country, because people have strayed too far, and they just do not realize there are consequences for their actions. And one thing that we've missed the boat on the most is your actions have consequences for other people. And this whole concept of really thinking about other people and thinking about kids in particular, who they don't have any rights, right? They're vulnerable. We're supposed to protect them. We're gonna be letting these freaking gays come in and adopt them. What are you talking about? You cannot allow that. You cannot allow that. And it's just disgusting. It makes me sick. And I know this is going to be labeled as homophobic or whatever. I don't care. I just don't. There's right and wrong, and this is wrong. So, and if you, and it kind of reminds me how they actually did a medical kind of, it was a big study, but either way, they measured, they were looking at guys' brains when they saw two dudes kissing, and it was just like the cortisol, it just like went through the guy's veins, right? Which is like, it's just we hate it. Like we can't not hate it. It's not even us. It's literally our neurochemicals. It's our chemistry. It's how we're made. It's how we're hardwired. So that's kind of, if something's wired in us to stay away from, right? It's the same concept of if you see a lion, right? Whoa, it's the same concept. It's not right. It's not natural, and it's downright evil. And the fact that we as men have allowed this to happen in our nation, it's our fault. It's Christian guys' fault. We need to take back our country and really save it from this just immoral wave of evil. But anyway. That's kind of my point on that. That's a hard one to come back from.
Yeah, where do you go after that?
We'll go right into it. All right, Biden. Who is Biden looking out for? You think he's looking out for you, Cody? Have you felt little Biden's eyes? You're not a small child, but do you feel Biden's eyes just gazing upon you? Has he ever? He's been looking out for you?
Gazing upon my my wallet when I buy gas in the wrong way. Like, oh my goodness, that ain't cheap, bro.
It ain't cheap. It ain't cheap to be American or Christian or white. It kind of sucks to be us right now. But we're gonna we're gonna bring it back. We're making America great again.
Oh, we're so canceled.
We're
But
so
it's
canceled,
it's
by the way.
okay. Christ is king.
Christ is king. Christ is king. So anyway, the commutes. So Biden commutes. Who are these people? Like what exactly is Biden? Who is he commuting?
I think the real question is, what could they be? Like, they could have been lawyers, bro. They could have been astronauts.
They could have been lawyers.
They could have been doctors. What would they have been?
So here we go. I'm just going to go through the list. Okay, these are different stories. All right, Biden commutes death sentence of child killers and mass murders 2 days before Christmas. Joe Biden commuted George Torres, who raped and murdered 2 little girls in Illinois. So instead of worrying about our economy, instead of worrying about gas prices, instead of worrying about the many conflicts across the world, not worrying about the housing crisis where you and me being Americans, young Americans in particular, we don't have money to buy houses, we don't have money to buy gas at this point. You know what we need to do? We need to be hunting down these child rapists and these child killers, and we need to be commuting their sentences. We need to be taking care of the evilest of society while ignoring the good part of society. That's where this country is. So either way, Biden, it's not Christian for me to say what I think of you, but screw you,
He said, You know the thing. Yeah, that's all I got. that was him. No, but he's like, I don't believe there's any place for execution, only for terrorism and something else. It's like, oh, you could terrorize a child, but that's not classified as terrorism.
Yep.
Like,
I mean,
come on.
It's really, really crazy, and I do understand that a lot of the Christians are going to be like, hey, you shouldn't be for the death penalty for somebody, and I respect your opinion. I mean, I'm not
establishing a precedent, though.
Yeah.
I would not want to live in a Middle Eastern country. I just wouldn't. Okay, but
the burgers are pretty lit, though.
The what?
The burgers.
The burgers. I
burgers
thought you said burgers. I was like, what? But anyway,
no pork.
That's true.
No pork.
That's a good
The
thing.
women are covered.
Very Adventist. No, just kidding.
Get up to Walla Walla.
No ankles around here. None.
No ankles, brother. It's a sin, brother.
Sup, brother? No, man, he just killed my train of thought. The Middle East, like somebody steals, they didn't cut off their hands.
Yeah.
Somebody rapes, they execute them in the street. Some countries. I think the other countries they're heavy in the rape, but there's certain Middle Eastern countries that they don't give two poops. They will end you for doing certain things, and I feel like it happens a lot less because of that. Or do you think I'm just completely wrong on that?
No, I think you're right. It's just
my point is I don't think there would be as much of this stuff in the U.S. if we had harsher penalties.
If we had recourse for somebody's actions.
Yeah.
Right. Responsibility has been lost.
Yeah.
Right. Because the main concept is the same thing in school, right? No matter how well you do, you get a participation trophy, right? No matter if you're bad, you can't get spanked, right? If you're really bad, your parents can't spank you nowadays. The cops get called, right? So that there's no responsibility for your action all the way through childhood. And then you get to this point where you have these adults, these crazy people, and they're killing people, they're raping people, and there's not a line in the sand in which we say, hey, here's a line. If you cross that, you're done, right? There is no line. Now it's like, if I rape people, if I rape kids, if I kill kids, I'll just get commuted by the president. That to me is mind-boggling, and it's such haram. It's crazy that the president of the United States is focusing on this. It makes me really angry. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Right before he leaves office, too.
Right before he leaves office, his last move is to protect child rapists and killers.
What a legacy!
What a legacy!
That's crazy, dude.
I mean, a
senile old man that can't think for himself. I feel bad for him because I don't even think it's him at this point.
Yeah.
I really don't.
It's true. We shouldn't really be blaming Biden.
I don't think it's. because they've really tried to take him out of the limelight, especially after Trump has won.
He's-
Trump is the president in the world's eyes.
Well, and
already.
they had a leaked footage, right, of a one of the Biden administration and actually one of his administrators, and he literally was saying like Biden's brain dead. Literally the other day, it was a leaked tape, and he was like, "Yeah, he's not there." Like he calls me, and then and he says, "Sir, no, I'm the wrong guy. You got to call X, Y, and Z, right?" And he's like, 2 minutes later, calls me again. We have the same conversation.
That's
over again.
crazy, dude.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
nuts.
he's like, he's not running the country. Obviously, then he got leaked. He was like, in big trouble. But it was kind of funny. It's like, hey man, win stupid, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's a mess. It's a mess, man. But yeah. So on to Rand Paul. Rand Paul actually came out and he's pushing really hard to jail Dr. Fauci.
He wants to lock up Wuhan boy.
Which makes me happy. That would make me really happy.
Dude, I really think so, and I don't think we're crazy for saying it. He was really pushing a lot of crap. A lot of stuff that now is coming out that just wasn't backed by science. They pushed it down our throats saying science, science, science. You got to believe the science. For so long they said if you get the vaccine, you will not contract COVID.
Yep.
That didn't last long.
He's
Then they started changing their tune.
He's just an
He
arm.
was one of the big perpetrators of that.
He's just an arm of the pharmaceuticals, right? I mean, you can look at him through all the AIDS the AIDS virus. I mean, that huge thing he did in Africa. He just, cashed in, killed how many people? I mean, the dude is straight up. I mean, he's evil. He will do whatever he wants or can do for profit. Anything he can do for profit, he will do. And that's just what it is. I don't really know what to say to that. I mean, how do you deal with somebody like that in your society? That's kind of where I come in as a nationalist and go, okay, is it in the country's interest to, make sure that this guy is not out in public, right? He doesn't have rights, essentially. Like that's where I say, how do you remove somebody's rights? Well, you send him to jail. Allegedly, Dr. Fauci is a really bad guy and had things to do with the Wuhan lab. He did. I mean, it's been it's pretty widely reported. But it is one of those things to where like he locked down the whole Earth, the whole United States, and made some pretty outrageous claims. And then not only that, here's my biggest problem. He then silenced anybody who disagreed with him. Right? And he encouraged a lockdown on information. It's one thing to say, hey, I was misinformed. I made a mistake. My bad, which he has not done yet, by the way. But the worst thing is that he's getting checks from the pharmaceuticals to make sure that the government requires everybody to get the vaccines. And then on the other side, anybody who questions the vaccines or anybody who questions the lockdowns, he's encouraging them to get shut down because the pharmaceuticals are telling him to, right? He gets a check if he does that. So it's just so corrupt. It's corruption to the highest level. He's been doing it for so many years. The fact that leftists would protect this guy has been the bastion of big pharma and massive corporations for so many years. Like he is their knight in shining armor against the common people. So the fact that leftists are now on the side of corporations, I'm just like, you can't make this stuff up. So leftists are big corporate totalitarians. It's like, what? No, we're supposed to be the corporate totalitarians. Like, what happened? What happened that we're the little guy? We're the working man. I mean, you could see that with the movement of working class. The working class now votes for, Republicans and gender study students who live in cushy lives, who haven't worked a day in their life. Sorry, gender study student. No, I'm not sorry. Screw you. They're all voting left.
But we need the gender studies. Who's going to learn about them?
Who's going to tell people that two daddy frogs is okay? Who's going to tell us that it's okay to rape children? Nobody else. We need somebody. So, allegedly. I'm just going to throw that in every so often.
It's probably a good idea.
It probably is a good idea. I don't want to get sued by these freaking pedophile cult. Allegedly.
Moloch. They probably pray to Moloch.
Probably do.
Yeah,
Satan.
God.
Satan himself. But yeah, man, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing against pretty wild people, pretty evil people. If you don't see the battle between good and evil, I don't know where you are. But
pray for your eyes to be opened.
Pray for your eyes to be open. Yeah, well, we're praying for it. Cody, how long have we been going so far?
We're about 25 minutes in.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll cover another topic here.
Yeah. Before I go to bed back here, Caleb's trying to
There we
put
go.
his producer to sleep.
Let's go.
We're getting
Am I
closing
that
on-
boring? Am I that boring?
No, I'm
What
just
the hell?
tired, dude. I've been working all day and I'm a little tired.
We
but
literally have been at it since like 8:30, 9 a.m. and it's now 11 p.m. So
yeah,
we're
hey, bro.
we got a good
giving
team.
the people what they want.
Amen. Let's go.
We're giving the people what they want, and we're slaving away here. Again, if I know Caleb said it in a few past episodes, but if you have any topics you want us to cover, let us know.
Shoot it over.
We still got to go over tariffs, what our one listener has asked for.
Yes.
We're gonna go over that.
We're gonna go over tariffs.
But we need a whole entire episode just on that.
Yes. Yep.
So,
We did do immigration last time, so that was good.
Yep.
And these things are going to be kind of reoccurring, especially with the incoming of the Trump administration. I'm actually going to do a whole episode on that, which I really want to cover. What that's going to look like for the average American, what that's going to look like for terrorists, for business owners, for working class, everybody.
And we need to talk about if we're going to the inauguration or not. I think it would be awesome
We're going.
to do some content that day.
We're going to the inauguration.
In the
I'm dressing up in
We're
this.
going to dress up. We're going to bring our filming equipment. We're going to bring our microphones. And we're going to do some content there in the capital of the United States.
Allegedly.
We also, I would like to do an episode day one of his presidency. So I know he's claiming it. I know it's going to happen. He's going to be signing executive orders as soon as he gets to the White House.
Dude,
it's just going to happen.
I would love to kind of be on the street in D.C.
Yeah.
That first day after his election
Yeah.
and kind of be doing some street interviews. What do you
Yeah.
think about that?
Dude, I'm down for any content
Yeah.
ideas we want to do.
Because
Last
the thing
Nationalist,
is,
we're going to be there in D.C.
guys, I really appreciate everybody watching. I believe in celebrating because this is a team effort, and I think not only from Cody, but we have a bunch of people on our team, but also you as a viewer, right? And you're now kind of a part of this. I really do appreciate everybody, and we hit this past week 4,700 views on all platforms. So
Yep.
really appreciate you guys. I mean, it's really awesome. I couldn't have imagined it kind of coming to this.
I mean, week 2 of us doing this.
Week
That's
2.
crazy. That's crazy. I mean, yes, it's on all the platforms, but still.
Yeah.
That's just mind-boggling to me anyway. But yeah,
100%.
I want to second what Caleb's saying. Thank you for all of our viewers. Even if you've only watched one episode, we appreciate
You're
you.
here. Join the team.
Yeah.
We're gonna save America. And allegedly from these alleged terrible people.
Yep.
We can't.
I second that. The alleged part.
Yeah. Honestly, this podcast should be called the Last Nationalist, allegedly. But yeah, no, I think we're gonna go to the inauguration. That'd be a lot of fun.
Would love to do that.
Kinda
Love to
go
get
in there.
some content out of that. Dude.
Yeah, dude, I would love to interview people.
Yeah.
You
That'd
know?
be dope. Absolutely.
Man, and because we'll get the Trump supporters' perspective, I would love to get some protesters' perspective.
Yeah.
Kind of make fun of them a little bit. That'd be kind of fun. I like to poke fun because the honest truth is that I actually am not for a lot of Trump's picks. To be completely honest, I'm also not exactly for Trump had a lot of money come from a lot of bad spots that I really disagree with. He's way too easy on homosexuality. He's just not he's not a Christian man. So this is my goal, and I want to share it with you guys. My goal is to shift the conversation to where Trump is the liberal in American politics. That's what I want. I want Trump to be the liberal in American politics, and I want our wing of the right wing of the Nationalist Party to be the right wing. So it's the battle between you either choose between Trump or you choose between the Nationalists. So that's kind of what I want. And obviously it's gonna be good discussion. I love the right wing for that Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson can really debate. Really big news. Tucker Carlson comes out as a self-described nationalist in one of his latest episodes, which is pretty cool. I'm no longer the last. So that's cool. That's cool, boys. Let's go. So I was the last nationalist, but we're growing it. We're growing it strong and fast, and it's going to be awesome. We got to come up with a name for it.
The last plus one.
The last plus one.
No, that's horrible. We'll hit the
That's
drawing
bad.
board.
That's really
We'll
bad.
go back to the drawing board of that one.
But let us know
allegedly.
also if you have any ideas for what we should do at the inauguration, and maybe the day after we also go up to D.C., kind of check things out, interview some different senators and stuff, and House representatives, and I want to get what the feeling is in D.C. Right? That's more what I'm like. Hey, so that would be pretty cool.
Is it kind of like business as usual, or they're like ready to get crap done.
Yeah, yeah. And we might actually be able to get some really maybe some journalists to call in that are really tapped into the ground there.
Hey,
And,
bro, we got to just get there and see who we can talk to.
I like it. I was thinking throughout Trump's presidency or something. Journalists, we have some contacts, so that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I love it. I think America. Obviously, there's a lot of bad things. We covered a lot because the bad things.
Yeah,
that's what
last
gets
episode.
us angry.
If you want to tune into some bad stuff, even the beginning of this episode, but last episode was
dude, it gets you mad.
Shedding a few tears.
But anger. I mean, this episode's pretty bad, especially the gay daddy frogs. But either way, we're moving ahead though. I'm excited to see what happens in America over the next little bit here. But
it does, like you said, it does seem like the tides are shifting. To more Christian morals. Yeah, we can focus on a ton of doom and gloom. But if the election is a result of that, I believe more Christians came out to vote this time than previous elections.
Well, and it really is just kind of coming down to if we just have the correct representation, right? The Republican Party does not represent the average Christian conservative or the average Christian nationalist, right?
There's a couple in there that do, but I mean the party as a whole.
3 or 4?
Yeah, very low. Out of the 200 some Congress men and women.
So,
that's crazy.
It's really it's a tragedy because they're all bought and paid for by massive corporations, by special interests, and probably by Satan allegedly. And it's really sad to kind of see. And I actually agree with the leftists on this part, and I think that's where nationalists and leftists kind of come together, which is, hey, we probably should not have massive donors, foreign and domestic, deciding what happens in the election, or at least bribing existing ones, right? I mean, it's one thing to fund somebody's campaign. It's another thing to then be giving them money throughout. Right? In speaking engagements, in this, that, the other. It's another thing to say, hey, by the way, you can buy stock, right? You can trade stock options while you're a senator or House representative.
How is that even just even a discussion at this point?
I have no idea.
Let's take money from China. Let's take money from Israel. Let's take money from Germany. Let's take money from Russia.
Yep. Who's for this?
Yeah.
Who's for? Well, I tell you who's for it. The politicians.
Yeah.
That's who because
they want money, bro.
And they're the ones who run the country, right?
I mean, they can't have 3 houses and make $174,000 a year.
That's a good point. Unless you're AOC.
I don't know how that works.
Somehow she's worth $20 million, but has only been made.
Only worked as like a bartender and a congresswoman?
And it makes $170K a year. Let me AOC net worth. Let me check.
Bro, she's probably got an OnlyFans.
AOC's OnlyFans? Bro, if she wasn't
the net worth.
Okay, let's check here. They claim she's not worth that much, but I saw some interesting
What are they claiming? What are the initial results claiming she's worth?
They claim like 20 grand. Let's check. Let's see. Shows she has $45,000 in assets, and I just don't believe that.
I mean, that doesn't make sense. Like unless she just wastes all of her money.
Yeah. I mean, she makes a lot of money. She makes
170 something.
Yeah. Yep. But I mean that's kind of what.
How do you make that living in New York though? That's crazy. You don't. That's not much.
Well, she owned a place in the Bronx, in New York City.
Owned.
Huh?
Owned.
So
that's like what, $2 million?
Her net worth is
million?
Not.
Yeah, that's weird.
$50,000.
Yeah.
Leftists might want it to be. They might want her to be broke, but she's not. And then not only that, but she's very similar to the other ones. I mean, she's gonna get speaking engagements. She makes stupid money from. It's a game. She's immoral. Look at her positions. Look at her going down to the border, hanging on to the cages that Obama built, and crying like a freaking. Oh, what a retard! Like she just sitting there, just like meh. And all right, cameras off. All right, let's go get tacos. She's just.
I know a mean place down the street.
It's not because she's Hispanic, but it's so funny, dude. She's such a. She's just so ridiculous. It's like,
Yeah.
and the leftists buy into it. How dumb are you to buy into that crap? And I understand, leftists say the same thing about Trump. But what I would ask for you, and I'm man enough to say, yeah, Trump doesn't represent Christian values. Everybody knows this. The dude was banging a Playboy model. Duh. Nobody has ever said that Trump is this moral bastion, that the guy we should look up to. No. But don't be sitting back.
I wouldn't say that. I'm sure people have said that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Like
but
my
there's
grandmother.
crazies.
He's the best thing we got. He's far better than any. It's like, okay.
Which there's crazies on both sides.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
but the leftists
sure.
at least admit that if you're like, oh no, AOC, she's honest and she doesn't take any money for speaking engagements and she's just a man of the people or woman or they of the people.
Dude, you sound like Elvis Presley.
Shut up,
that
dude.
was good, dude.
Shut up.
Start.
Shut up, you she-they creature. All right? I'm sick and tired of these she-theys telling me what I can and cannot say. America, baby. I'm pointing to the flag. Please cut to this angle. Let's
That's
go,
right.
baby. Let's go. But either
got
way,
you.
thank you guys for watching. I'm sick of the she-theys, and that's what I got to say.